I get a lot of creationist halfwits coming onto my page wanting to discuss, according to them, evolution. And that's fine. I have no problem discussing evolution. At least not with someone who actually understands it. In fact, I enjoy it. But for the love of science, make up your mind before the discussion starts what you want to discuss. If you want to discuss evolutionary biology, don't bring up the Big Bang. If you want to discuss Big Bang cosmology and astrophysics, don't bring up abiogenesis. If you want to discuss abiogenesis, don't bring up evolution. If you want to argue about the age of the Earth, don't bring up evolutionary biology. For crying out loud, if you want to argue about whether or not science could conceivably disprove the existence of a God, this being a discussion of the philosophy of science, don't bring up any of the above except as examples to illustrate a point. It's quite simple, really. Decide what you want to discuss and bloody well stick with it. And don't bring up shit that isn't the slightest bit relevant for the topic of the discussion. Evolution and abiogenesis are not in the slightest bit dependent on one another. The only point where evolution depends on abiogenesis is that evolution assumes that life came from somewhere. It doesn't give a shit if some god touched the ground and created the first bacteria, or if the first self-replicating molecule was formed in the primordial ocean by chemical reactions, or if fucking Santa Claus pulled life out of his bag one Christmas Eve back in 4 billion BCE. It's not relevant to the field of evolutionary biology. Evolution and Big Bang cosmology, once again, have no relation except that evolution assumes that the bloody universe came from somewhere, as indeed does every conceivable field of science other than Big Bang cosmology. Whether a multidimensional singularity expanded to form the current space-time continuum, or a god snapped his fingers and placed all planets and stars in their orbits with light already in transit, it doesn't have the slightest influence on or relevance to evolutionary biology. If you want to argue that the Earth is only 6,000 years old, in which case, of course, you're a complete fuckwit and I see little reason to waste my time on you in the first place, what you want to argue about is radiometric dating, because that is the field of science that proves, beyond the shadow of a doubt, by the way, that the Earth and the solar system in which it resides is approximately 4.5 billion years old. It is then your job to show that this is not in fact the case, and then bring evidence for your ridiculous figure of 6,000 years. In short, if you can't decide what you want to discuss, don't engage in a fucking discussion to begin with. I don't have the time to waste on debunking your misunderstandings of every advancement of science in the last 2,000 years. Okay, I think that's enough ranting on my part for now. Just pick one topic at a time, that's all I'm saying. Peace.